Hey, thanks for joining me. My name is Christina Allison. Thanks for joining me for the second Productivity Monday. Today I want to talk about the busyness of being busy. So, are you so busy you don't have time to get anything else done? That's part of that whole productivity and time management stuff. A lot of times now it's that status symbol, I'm really busy. I'm going to say if you're really busy, you're not managing your time really well. That's just the honest truth, people. Being really busy is not a successful way of managing your time. And can we actually manage time? Not really. We have 24 hours in a day, all of us, each of us. Do you know people that are really more productive than you? And of course, we always know some of those that are less productive than us for sure. But we have the same 24 hours a day. What are we doing with that time? Okay? So I'm going to challenge you to do what they call a time audit. And below I've given you some links of some forms that might be useful in that. Now, people are resistant to time audits for many reasons, but there are different ways to do them. And below I'll give you a couple of suggested different ways of doing it to figure out how you are spending your time, just a simple little chart. You can even just write it on a note paper, but the idea is what we think we're spending our time doing isn't necessarily actually how we're spending our time. And what we say in our mind isn't necessarily the facts. So the idea of documenting time, any time that we're doing anything, we actually have to write it down to actually be accountable for it. And for business and for personal, I encourage you to do for both. This is your whole life. It's not just for business. It's not just for personal, right? It's your whole life. I want you to track your time. Everything that you do. Now, different personality types are going to handle this a little bit differently. And what I want you to do is for you, now if you're a detailed kind of person, this can be really easy. If you're in a business that you're tracking your time, like attorneys and accountants, a lot of time have time, they just literally, in order to bill, have to know exactly what their times are. Then you have an advantage over everybody else, because at least in your work time, you know exactly what you're doing in your time. There's power in this, and as much as people want to resist it, it does make a huge difference when you can really audit your time. I recommend that you do it for 7 days, so that for the next week, just track everything that you do. And sometimes people just have to do it in an overview. Some people have to be really detailed. Whatever works for you, but to be really honest of how are you spending your time. I had one woman in a class that I had, she did it for like 3 months. And she was able to go to her boss and say, hey, I know exactly what I'm doing with my time. And she was doing more technical than she was administrative. And she ended up actually getting a raise of like $10,000 and a promotion in the title, because she was not doing the job she was hired for. She was doing something more than that. So if you work for a corporation, this can be really beneficial to where are you spending your time, and can you then present it to somebody else that has the power to give you more money. I don't think I could do it for 3 months. I struggle for a week. I highly recommend if you could do it for 2 weeks. There's also apps, and that might be better for you. You can use one of the apps that tracks your time as well. This is a very powerful tool. If you're willing to put in the time to do it, it will actually show you where you're spending time. Think about it. The average person spends 4 hours a day watching television. And that's an average. That means there's people doing more. And I can't say I've never done it, because that'd be not true. I read a t-shirt. It said, I run marathons, and then small print says, on Netflix. Right? We can all relate. Oh, wait, it's a cliffhanger. I've got to watch the next one. We get it, right? But in that process, if you are trying to strive for a dream, and you're watching other people live their dreams. If you save just an hour a day, that's 365 hours a year. If you just did that 1 hour to go do what it is that you really want to do, to grow whatever it is you want to grow, to be who you really want to be. If you're spending at least 4 hours, I read something about, I'm not going to be good on this math, but it's something like in your lifetime, if you live into your 60s, it's like 15 years of watching TV. That is astonishing. What could you do in 15 years to grow your business, to do the things you really want to do, to live the life that you really want to live? So I highly recommend that you audit your time for a minimum of 7 days. And you'll hear these excuses. Oh, this is not my typical week or whatever. No excuses. Just do it. Track your time. Know what it is that you're doing. Be honest. You don't have to change anything that you're doing. This is just an audit that just says this is where I'm spending my time. No wrong, no right, no judgment. You're not turning it into somebody. This is just for you, for your information, but it is powerful. I have watched it change people's lives. So do it, and we'll see you next week.